Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. Yes, where do you start with Winifred Atwell? I mean, there's just so many things you could talk about. So I'm going to limit it to 5 minutes for Jan. So if I'm going over time, just signal to me. But I think she's actually one of the most versatile pianists that's ever lived. Most pianists tend to be classical or jazz or middle of the road, whatever, but she did every genre and she mastered every genre. Unbelievable. And back in 1981, when I was about 23 years old, Winifred had lost a husband on a tour. They were doing a tour of Asia, and unfortunately Lou passed away, her husband. And she was quite devastated, depressed. I'm a clinical psychologist, not clinical, I'm a psychologist by trade, and basically, if you analyse it, she was depressed. Because without Lou, she was pretty much lost. I think she lost purpose to live. Even though she was very involved with the Catholic Church, she was a very devout Catholic, and she really put into practice what she preached. And everyone that's met her, I've never heard anyone say anything bad about her. And I've been trying to write a book for years, but I think Jan and I might have to collaborate because it's so hard working. But I just wanted to tell you, I had the honour to meet her, and how it came about was because she was lost and she was thinking of going back to Trinidad because that's where she was born and raised. And I suppose when we all get on a bit, we all want to go back to our early days. And basically what happened was she booked her seats on the plane to leave Australia and go back to Trinidad. And I thought, I've got to meet this lady before she leaves Australia. And I was only 23 years old, and I'd seen her on This Is Your Life. Roger Clemson used to have a This Is Your Life TV show, and she was one of the guests on the show. And they showed little snippets of a song, playing the rags and classical, and I'd never seen that before. I thought, oh, this is amazing. I've got to investigate this. And so I started buying all records and researching like Jan's done, and gone to the NFSA and all that sorts of things. And then basically, I remember this day very vividly. I nervously rang her number, which I can still remember, the 7-digit 9133928, because I knew she lived in Narrabeen, and I knew her husband's surname was Levison. And there was only, at the time, when we had the old hard book phone books, there was only one Levison in the phone book, but the initial was R. And I thought, that's got to be her. Maybe it's, her, like Jan said, her name was Una. Winifred was her middle name. And Lou Levison, well, there's no R there, is there? So I rang the number, and she answered. And I was a bit like starstruck at first, as you would be. And I said, is there any chance that I could meet you before you leave Australia? I thought, if I don't do this now, I'll never get the chance. And she very graciously said, I won't be able to see you this weekend, but the following weekend, you're welcome to come over. And my parents were big fans of Winnie Atwell. They went to the Tivoli concerts. I think I was still in my mum's stomach at one of those concerts back in the 1950s. And anyway, that week seemed to last forever, getting to the chance to go and see her. And finally the day came, and we had to get a bus to Punchbowl from Greenacre, where I lived at the time. Then we had to get a train to Circular Quay. Then we had to get a ferry to Manly. And then we had to get a bus from Manly to Narrabeen. And she lived in this high-rise apartment, which Jan showed you earlier, on the 6th floor. It was a security building. So basically, Mum and Dad came with me, and they kept thinking, oh, this is not going to happen, this is not going to happen. Anyway, we rang the doorbell, it was a security block. The door opened, we got in the lift, we went up to the 6th floor, and here's Winnie. And the first thing that struck me was she was rather short, much shorter than what she appeared in the photos, But took us into her apartment. And we're total strangers. Now, how many celebrities would do that? Honestly. And so we went in, and she had a beautiful Steinway Grand, which Jen showed you, and the Grand faced her balcony, which looked out over Narrabeen Beach. You could just see the horizon of the ocean, you know. It was so beautiful, beautiful old English style furniture. And of course she said to me, would I play her something? And her heart was really in the classics. She was classically trained, and you can always tell when someone's classically trained because they have a technique that a lot of people don't have. And she wasn't like a Mrs. Mills or a Reg Varney. They all played the piano, but they sort of weren't really classically trained. But she was. And I said, what would you like me to play for you? And she said, Chopin. So I played the G flat major waltz for her. And she said, would you play me something else? And I said, well, I love Bach. So I played her one of the Bach preludes. And she was really impressed. And then I said, can I play the Black and White Rag for you? And it was her arrangement. So I did. And it went over well. You know, she was just so down to earth. There was no airs and graces. She was just natural. And so anyway, what happened then? Oh yeah, I took no worries. Yeah. Took along a few albums. She signed them for me. Nothing was a trouble. And you know, I treasure that time. And I've been running a Winifred Atwell fan club for some time now, and that's how Jan and I kind of got together. Yeah. But there's so much I could tell you. But maybe after the concert, if you want to ask me anything, I pretty much can tell you a lot of things about it. So if anyone's
Carol
interested.
knows everything.
And look, thank you, Carol, for sharing that.